Okay. Well, Debbie, while we have you, let's talk about the Future of Food report from Sainsbury's. I think you mentioned this before, but we got an update.
We have indeed. Sandy and Brian have brought this to our attention before with the 15-minute cities. But my question is, how safe is your salad? Because that's what we're going to be looking at. And of course, in the Sainsbury's Future of Food report, it goes right up to 2169, which is just insanity. But let's look at 2025. And what they're looking at is food as a medicine. And they're saying that people are going to be drawn to food with health benefits. And we should see food as a medicine. And they're even referring to two organizations or two terms there. One's called Shop with Your Doc, and the other's called Fresh Food Pharmacy, with pharmacy being spelt as Farmacy. And the question I think that we all have to ask ourselves is, how far do we actually go? What is the probability or the possibility of medicalizing food like we have medicalized water with fluoride? So I want to take you back to a couple of bits of news that we did a few weeks ago with regards to Tennessee, because there's been an update. So you might remember we featured that Tennessee were considering passing a bill that would prohibit vaccines to be put on food without being labelled. Well, HB 1894 has now added a new definition to the word drug. So HB 1894 states that drugs are also food that contains a vaccine or vaccine material. Now, this bill has passed and it's now awaiting signature by Senator, I can't remember his name, Bill Lee, I think his name is. It's got to be signed off by Bill Lee. Now, I went to look at what happened in the Senate and we saw it a few weeks ago. And the first thing I want to just show you is Senator Hensley, who is moving the bill forward. When you listen to him, it's only a very short clip. Just keep an eye on the lady behind him, Senator Heidi Campbell, because she's getting ready to move. So have a listen to the proposal of the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1894 merely would require any food that contains a vaccine or vaccine material would have to be classified as a drug and labeled as such. With that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
So he's renewed the motion. And now we have Senator Heidi Campbell. She was the lady that was sitting behind. And to be honest with you, you're going to see that these senators are like rabbits in the headlights. And see what or hear what Senator Heidi Campbell said.
So while I feel like this legislation is basically anodyne, I mean, I guess it's addressing something that I can't imagine would ever exist, which is the idea that we would somehow be putting vaccines into foods that you would buy in a grocery store. I mean, I can't think of any logical reason why anyone would ever do that. And
so she's completely astounded, but I think we have to look at this bill as the canary in the coal mine. And I want to introduce you now to Senator Frank Nicely, who had plenty to say. Let's listen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Actually, I've been reading about this for a couple of years now, and evidently with this new technology, they can raise this, lettuce is what they're talking about first. They can raise this stuff so cheap. And I've been reading about it, talking about just putting it in lettuce and mass medicate everybody like they do with fluoride in the water. I mean, who controls the dose? If you eat a lot of lettuce, you're going to get a lot of mRNA. If you don't eat any, you won't get any. And they're actually talking about other vegetables that they're trying to put this in. And my question is, would this have to be sold at a drugstore? Would you still buy it in a grocery store? Why don't we just outlaw this stuff completely? We don't have any idea what it's going to do to our children, or, I mean, to us, or old people, anything. I mean, this stuff like out of a science fiction movie. I mean, it's ridiculous. It changes your DNA. It's mRNA changes your DNA. If you have your DNA tested now, and you eat a bunch of this lettuce, take a bunch of these mRNA vaccines, and you go back and get your DNA tested again, it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be the same as it was that you were born with, that you got from your parents. This is dangerous stuff. We need to study it and probably need to outlaw it. I mean, I can't imagine. When I first read about this, I thought, this cannot be true. But you keep reading about it, and it is true. But thank you for bringing this bill, and I'd just like to outlaw it in the whole state and outlaw whoever's trying to make it. Thank you.
Yes, and I would like to outlaw it as well. And I think I just want to make it completely clear. And this is a message from our very own Cheryl Granger as well. So thank you, Cheryl, in that she wanted me to say that mRNA is not safe in animals or humans, should never have been used. It should be outlawed. And what he was referring to there with regards to DNA was he was referring to DNA contamination. But we'll be talking to Cheryl a little bit more about that another week, I promise.
Yes, and indeed, Debbie, thank you for that. And we're hoping we're going to be hosting a symposium on mRNA in the not too distant future and so on. And we should also mention, Debbie, just very briefly, of course, the government is still working towards rolling out folic acid supplementation of flour, white flour for bread and so on, because we've got to medicate the entire population and not just pregnant women. So, have you got any thoughts on that very briefly?
Well, I mean, as you've said, Mike, now we're looking at medicalising water, we're medicalising food. If there's one thing in the UK that we're very good at, and it's growing lettuces and tomatoes. So I might suggest that we grow our own. But mRNA is a massive subject. There are hundreds coming down the line. It's not just COVID. It's not just flu. There are many more. But it's going to be something that we're going to be keeping our finger on the pulse and reporting on in the future.
Thanks, Debbie.